Geraldine Pitschke, and welcome to Aging Well in Georgina. Today we're going to talk about pet ownership, and anybody who lives with a furry friend, a dog, a cat, knows all of the benefits and the rewards that they can really bring to your life. But one of the things that we don't hear a lot about are some of the dangers of owning a pet as you get older. You know, there's about 86,000 people who have to visit the emergency room every year because of falls that happen because of your dog or your cat. And some of these falls can be pretty devastating as we get older. My guests today are two very knowledgeable ladies when it comes to dog ownership. Nancy Hatch is owner and trainer at Good as Gold Canine School. I want to make sure to get that right. And Karen Baxter is a trainer and animal behaviorist as Good as Gold Canine School. So I'd like to welcome them now. Hi. Hi, Karen. Hi, Nancy. Thank you for joining me today.
Our pleasure.
And you guys are actually in Georgina, but you're also in Mount Albert. Is that right?
That's right. Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So one of the things, you know, we hear a lot of talk about pets and how beneficial they are to our lives. And of course, throughout our lives, we've had these great pets and we all have wonderful memories. And so, you know, they really are a special relationship. Maybe we'll just kick off the conversation and talk about some of those benefits, especially as we're aging.
So I'll start, and I can tell you personally, as a pet owner myself, and as somebody who is, you know, over 50, right, I notice several things that are definitely beneficial as I'm getting older. In general, pet ownership is great because, you know, there is lots of studies that prove that owning an animal lowers blood pressure and has a lot of health benefits. Psychologically, though, there's also a huge benefit because there's a social component to having a pet, especially dogs, right? Because, you know, you're out walking, you go to dog parks, things like that. You're meeting up with people, you do dog activities. And then there's the health benefit of actually physically having to take care of those animals, gives us purpose. You know, we have to go for walks every day with our dogs. You know, we have to play with our cats to keep them healthy and stimulated, right? So there are a lot of definite overall benefits to our life, just having an animal in our house and being responsible for that animal. Nancy, you have anything to add?
Yeah, and just, you know, this is courageous, just having her sit on my lap, you know, I should be feeling really quite good right now, which I am, because she helps release all the healthy neurotransmitters, the endorphins, the oxytocin, the love hormone, and she gets those benefits back from me too. So it's, you know, it really is a relationship that has a lot of benefits on so many different levels. So,
you know, I'm just looking at the puppy sitting on Nancy's lap there, and she looks adorable. She's just beautiful. Nancy, you want to introduce us to your friend there?
Yes. So this is Courageous. She is a unique puppy. She was born without any eyes, and she has a jaw defect. And she's just been such a gift to me, taking care of her from when she was born. And she's really special. So.
Yeah, she's a really beautiful dog. And of course, one of the things, you know, the benefits too, especially, you know, for aging, you know, when we're aging, and I think we start to get little pets when our kids are small, and then we hope that they're going to take care of them. But of course, we have such an attachment to our pets, right? And then, of course, there's the unconditional love that they give us, which is really, I think, super healthy for all of us.
Yeah.
You know,
the bond. Right, the bond that humans have, specifically with more so with dogs, but with cats, some people have horses. You know, the bond that we have is unique, right? It's not the same as you would have with other animals on the planet, right? These animals are used to having humans look after them, and they rely on us, and we rely on them because they really do add so much to our lives.
And they lived with us for so many thousands of years. They're in a lot of ways, they're genetically groomed to be our partners.
Yes.
So it's it's really special. It's really cool that, dogs innately know what pointing is. And, there are really no other animals on the planet that know that. So they know how to read us from when their eyes open, and in her case, when her eyes didn't open, she knows how to read me in so many other ways. So it's very special.
It is very special. And I can remember my favorite dog was my dog Duncan, who was a bearded collie and was an amazing dog and very, very easy to train. So I think, one of the things that a lot of people will choose a dog because of the way it looks, because they're really attracted to the way the dog looks. But breed selection is one of the things that's really important. Did you want to just talk a little bit about that and how important it is?
Sure. One of the things that we see all the time when people come to us, we have the way that we do things is we see everybody individually first. And one of our questions we ask them is, why did you select that breed specifically? Right. And often we'll hear it's like, well, they're cute, or they don't shed, or, right. Things like that. Right. And what people tend to forget about is every breed has different requirements, like they've been bred for specific things. So Courageous is an example of a dog that is classified as a hunting dog, right? So, they're bird dogs. That's what they were bred to do, was go with the hunters and go and get birds. So, they're not the highest of energy dogs, but they definitely have requirements to stay mentally stimulated, have some physical exercise. There's grooming involved, and so when people are selecting a dog, they need to keep in mind what's their lifestyle, right? Are they going to be able to meet the needs of that dog? So as we get older, for instance, if I don't have a very active lifestyle and maybe I have some, physical limitations and I can't get out as much as I'd like to or as much as I used to, I might not select a breed like a Border Collie, for instance.
I was just thinking Border Collie.
Because Border Collies are a breed that they have high physical requirements, right? They also require a ton of mental stimulation.
And we love Border Collies.
Oh yeah, I have Border Collies. I love them.
I have like 4 of them.
Yep.
Karen has 3 of them.
Yeah, we love them, right?
Love them.
But we know, like, we do agility training with our dogs. We do a lot of mental stimulation. They get a lot of running time, and not everybody can accommodate that requirement.
Or wants to.
Yeah. It might not fit their lifestyle. Maybe they have the requirement of, I'm a senior, I live in a condo, I still love a dog and I want to have one, but, I'm not as active as I used to be. So in that case, I might look at getting something like a smaller dog that, doesn't have as much of a requirement, something like a Shih Tzu or something like that.
That's been bred to be.
That's their purpose. Yeah.
Sit on your lap and love you. And while they still need exercise and attention and training, some of their other energy needs aren't as great. And then as well as breed, there's age.
That's right. Yes. That's true too.
Yeah, because Courageous will grow up into be a nice, quiet girl one day. But right now, at 6 months old, she's a little spunky.
Yeah, exactly. And then of course, you also have to think about, am I able to handle this dog? Like you had started this segment talking about, the number of people who get injured by falling, right? So am I able to handle this dog when I'm out in the world walking my dog? Am I able to hold on to the leash, hang on to them, control them? Do I have the time to put into the training so the dog learns not to pull me over? Things like that, right? So, and some breeds are better at that kind of training than others. Some are bred to work with people. So if they're bred to work with people, like a golden retriever is bred to work with people, for instance, right? So if they're bred to work with people, it's a lot easier to train them to stay with us and walk with us and, not be distracted by things in the environment to the point where they're pulling us over or knocking us down.
And then other dogs are bred to be more independent and work without people. And so you try to train those dogs and they're like, what are you talking about?
That's right.
So it's not that it's impossible, but it's a lot harder.
Yeah.
You know, it's almost like breed selection is a show in and of itself, because there's so much to consider. And you're right, you know, and you can also see from a lot of the professionals that where the dogs have jobs, and you can look at the type of jobs that they have and then get a real insight into what what those breeds are bred for. And of course, all the smaller dogs, you know, you see them all the time, and they really are. They were bred to be lap dogs and to guard the temples and things. So they're a perfect apartment dog, a perfect dog for somebody who is not going to be getting lots and lots and lots of exercise. So
but it's not all small dogs, right? Some small dogs are very tenacious, and
yes,
they're in a small package
true.
doesn't mean they're gonna
Yeah.
be like a little small dog that sits on your lap. So
Yes.
Yeah.
For instance, I have a Yorkie, and you know, Yorkies are cute and they're small, and you know, people think, you know, oh, good little lap dog. He was a terrible lap dog when he was younger. Terrible, because he's a dog and he wants to do things. So as long as you can meet those needs, though, you can get what you want. So, you know, I was fortunate enough to be able to you know, do a lot of training with him, and he did agility, and he did dock diving, and he did a bunch of things. And then, you know, he was a certified therapy dog, because he was able then to calm down enough that he liked being on people's laps and was able to do that. But only if I made sure I took care of his psychological needs first, right? Was he able to do that? So
yeah, and I think that that's the really important part, Karen.
Yeah.
I take away from that is that when we meet their needs first, the exercise, the obedience training, what the dog needs, because first and foremost, it is a dog and
Right.
it has its own needs. Then the dog is going to be a lot more relaxed, a lot more able to focus on its owners, and be a much better pet in the end. And so, you know, it's really interesting. The whole breed selection is just such an interesting piece of the whole pet ownership topic. And of course, there are lots and lots of books and lots of videos and lots of information out there to help you. And of course, you can always talk to Karen and Nancy. We're just going to take a quick break, and then we'll come right back and we'll talk more about the obedience aspect. So. Hi, everyone, and welcome back to Aging Well in Georgina. Our guests today are Nancy Hatch, who is the owner of Good as Gold Canine School, and Karen Baxter, who is also a trainer and animal behaviorist at Good as Gold Canine School. So I just wanted to get back to my guests, and they're going to tell us a little bit about their business, Good as Gold. So Karen, did you want to tell us a little bit, and then maybe Nancy can share a little bit as well?
Sure. Well, Nancy actually started Good as Gold about 27 years ago in Mount Albert. So she started it, and it was just her, right? She was the only trainer at the time. And over the last few years, I came on board, and I came on board, and of course I live north of Ravenshoe, so I wanted to build it up in the Georgina area as well. And Nancy has got a long history of and a lot of education in psychology and in dog training in particular. So she was my mentor, and which is how I got into it professionally. And now we have 5 trainers who work under the Good as Gold umbrella in 2 or 3 different locations, right? So so we've really come a long way. Do you want to add to any of that? Very good.
yeah, I'd say for us, it's more than a business. It's really,
Definitely.
it's our life.
Yeah.
It's our passion. It's our vocation. It's what we love to do.
And we pride ourselves on what we call the family feel. So even we'll train your dog to do anything competitively if you want to do it competitively, like we train it properly, right? So that you could be a competitive person if you wanted to, right? However, I'd say 95% of our clientele, they just want to do an activity with their dog, and they want to come once a week and spend an hour with their friends and, play at obedience, or play, do some agility, or, some other activity that we do, some rally obedience. Those are different things that we do, right? And so they will come just for the social component and to do an activity with their dog. And everybody gets quite connected when they're a student at Good as Gold. We always say, once you're a student at Good as Gold, when part of the family, you're always a part of the family. Whether you continue training with your dog for years or you stop after a couple of months, you just still part of our family. So it's our niche.
Individual training too.
We do.
Behavior issues and things like that. So we offer a lot.
Yeah. So the behavior consulting piece of it is also is very specialized, and it is to help people who have some behaviors in their dogs that make it a lot more difficult for them to live with or to have out in society.
So I just wanted to pick up that piece that we were talking about before the break. We were talking about obedience, talking about different breeds, breed selection for, specifically for people to really look into the breed selection and what that breed might need. And I think every dog probably can benefit from obedience training of some kind, whether it's just very small, just your basic introduction course. But let's just pick up the obedience piece, because I know that you say this, they can be, having a dog ownership that can be your best friend or your worst nightmare. I've seen a lot of conversations around this on social media lately. So, can we just talk about that? Like, what do you mean by your worst nightmare?
Okay. You want to start?
Well, it just, I think it starts off really well. You get your puppy, you think everything's going to be wonderful. And I think we forget that these guys are not just living teddy bears. They, the first time you put a leash on them, it's not that they go, oh, that's a leash, I know what to do. So from the very beginning, having an education system for them that's fair to them and kind is really essential. And there are so many different ways to train that it's good to have also a system that matches up with your dog and yourself, because not everybody is going to be able to do what other people want to do, even in terms of basic obedience. But then, if things don't go well, because dogs do have their own personalities and their own needs and desires, that things can go off the rails.
If, for instance, if like we were talking about before about breed selection, if you happen to select a breed that doesn't meet your lifestyle, right? It doesn't have the same, there's not a good mix there, not a good match, right? And so let's go back to the Border Collie example. So I'm somebody who I really want a Border Collie. I've always wanted a Border Collie. I get this Border Collie, not anticipating the physical and mental requirements of that dog. So, I expect them to lie by my feet while I, chat with somebody or watch TV, or, I want to take them for a half an hour walk a day and then come in and, just have them hang with me all day, right? And what can happen, of course, is that dog's going to become frustrated. They're going to become bored. Right?
They're going to invent their own ways to cope with that.
Yes.
And, if you don't give those dogs a job, they will invent one, but it might not be the one you want.
That's right. And then, suddenly you now have this dog who is destroying your house, who's making your life miserable.
And potentially not friendly to other people.
That's
or
right.
Other dogs, because they're completely frustrated.
So now you're isolated because you no longer can take your dog places and you can't have people over. And, so instead of it being an experience of enriching your life by creating a way for you to connect with people socially. And by getting you out and getting some great physical exercise with them, you now can't walk them because they're unruly on the leash, and you can't see people because they don't know how to interact socially with others. And you now are finding yourself in a really sad state of being alone with a dog you can't handle. And so that would be your nightmare.
That would be your nightmare for sure.
That would be your nightmare dog.
Yeah.
For the dog too.
Yeah, it is.
Because the dog
Yeah.
can't, call the doggy helpline and go,
One person needs some help. So it is hard.
Yeah.
It's hard
Yeah.
when it gets
So,
to that
and it's
point.
sad because, people emotionally bond with their dogs very quickly. So now you've got this unruly dog, but you love the dog. Like, you don't want to give it up if you don't have
and you
to.
feel like they're
Right?
protector.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
you end up
Organizing your life around your dog's kind of not good way of being in the world.
Yeah, exactly. So, having your dog, selecting the right breed first, right, is the first step, right? Then the second step is do the work you need to do to ensure that your dog and you have a nice balanced lifestyle that's good for both you and the dog. So,
Yes,
that's
very
training.
good. And
Yeah.
and to start off when the dog is a puppy, get involved when the dog is a puppy.
Yeah.
I just want to make sure that people know how they can contact you. So maybe you could talk a little bit about that. How would we contact you, and what kind of programs do you guys offer at Good as Gold?
We're open 7 days a week. Right. We have puppy classes, so you can start right away when you get your puppy. Puppies are the sponge of the dog world. So, you definitely want to start early.
and even
Right.
before they have
Mhm. Before they have their
all
final
their
shots.
vaccines,
Yeah.
Because
Yeah.
You can offer individual classes so
Yes.
that there is no health risk to the puppy.
Yeah.
And I think people
Think they should wait until the puppy has all of its vaccines, and then by that time, their personalities are being well formed.
Yes.
And
So we want to start earlier. And we also offer other ongoing activities because learning is lifelong for the dogs as well as the people. So we have rally obedience, which is a fun way to do obedience. It's it's a dog sport. So it is fun. We also do agility training. Like I said, then we do some specialized ongoing advanced obedience as well. So there's all kinds of activities that you can do with your dog.
and we also feed into our other organizations.
Yes, there's other organizations, therapy dogs, scent work. There's all kinds of activities that you can do with your dog, right? So if we don't do it, then we send people who have dogs that are interested in that activity. We'll send them to other organizations that do those kinds of activities as their dogs get older. To get in touch with us, we have a website, www.goodasgoldcanineschool.com. You can send us an email, info@goodasgoldcanineschool.com, right? Or you can call our main line on our website. I believe we have some of our cell phone numbers are on there as well. You can call us and leave a message. And
Yes.
we also have a Facebook page. That's actually one of our most active ways people get in touch with us is through Facebook. So you can send us a private message, and we try to get back to people within a couple hours. So.
Yeah, and I just want to remind people that we're looking at the puppy that Nancy has. And of course, the puppy has been here now for about 25 minutes, and she's been sitting there. She's been very patient. But of course, the dog is blind. You were saying that the puppy is blind. And so that really attests to Nancy being able to have the puppy there. And, that's hard for the puppy to just sit there for all that time. So she's done really well, I think. She has done really well. Thank you, Nancy. You've had your hands full there. I think that today has been so informative, honestly. And I think that for me, as I said, I've seen a lot of conversations on Facebook about people walking their dogs. Their dogs are off leash. The people don't have a lot of control over their dogs. And I think that people don't realize that obedience is actually fun.
It can be really fun, and it's good for the dog as well. Yeah,
and it's an
it's really
important
good.
part of the relationship.
Yeah.
It's relational. Obedience is about you and your dog communicating and bonding and working as a team, because dogs are pack animals and they want to work with their team leaders.
Mm-hmm.
People, yeah.
Which are people.
And it really does benefit. You know, I think people sometimes think of obedience as punishment, and it's really not. I think from my experience anyway, taking obedience classes with my dogs, they love it. They just love it. They love learning. They love doing stuff. They just love it. And I love it. I got so involved with it and I loved it. So today was really important. I'm so glad you guys are in Georgina as well, because there are lots of opportunities for people to connect with you and sign up, especially if you have a new puppy. If you have a new puppy, you need to get in touch with Karen and Nancy and get involved in obedience. You won't regret it. It's going to build an amazing relationship with you and your dog. And of course, we're going to have our dogs for 16 and more years. So they really can, they can become great citizens, and we don't want to be getting into trouble with liability, if something happens. So thank you again for joining me today. It's been a really great informative. I loved it. It was great information. And thank you to you for joining in today and watching Aging Well in Georgina. And I hope you'll join us again. And until we see you, bye for now.